Well, it's Sunday. Hey, everybody. Hopefully I put this up at a reasonable hour. I genuinely doubt it. So, happy Monday morning. I'm here today because I've been called by the Reaper, Cthulu. Huge shout out to Greg and Heather. Thank you so much for this mini. It was lovely spending time with you. And also, this guy, so much fun. So you can see now, probably on one of my cameras, that I've got him primed. I used the brown primer from Vallejo. I just got Game Air, the full Game Air set. It was like $165 on Amazon. If you're in the US, it's its lowest price right now. Get one. I highly recommend it. But I used the brown primer with a little bit of blue in it and did the base layer. You can see it in here. You can see it like in his tentacles the most. Beep. No, it's okay. You can see like in his tentacles the most that I used the brown with the blue. And then I came back over him with the blue primer with a mix of undead, like zombie, like a skin tone primer. So he is just primed, and this is what he looks like so far. So I realized that I am uncomfortably aware that the Cthulu mythos has him as green, and kind of an odd washed out green, but I'm not a big fan of green. So I'm actually going to be painting him. The final product color is going to be somewhere around yellow, and I'm painting all airbrush. I'm going to try to paint him with as much airbrush as I can, just because this mini is so huge. Look at him compared to my head. If I flip my head upside down, it'd be non-Euclidean. But if you look at this thing compared to my head, he stands at a solid 7.5, 8 inches long, 8 inches tall. He's got this huge tail. And in all honesty, like, giant minis are awesome. These are big showpiece minis. And this is the first video that I'm going to do with him. I've been working on a base concept with him for the base that I want to do. But today we're just going to paint him for a little bit. See where we end up. But the big issue with blending techniques and trying to wet blend, trying to use wet mediums on such a like mixed paints on such a large object like this is that it's going to take that much longer to dry. And it's also difficult to get solid, consistent brush control. And I wouldn't want to sit here and just, I don't know, fumble my way through this fucking thing. I am so excited though. Yeah, I was gonna say, and that brown with the blue on top turned a beautiful purple, and like a gemstone purple. Very beautiful. I'm really happy with how that turned out. So let's give this a go and see where we end up. I'll be right back. I'm going to adjust the camera. Face camera's a little too fucking close for my comfort. All right. So I have my dude. My Chrome. Badger Chrome. I've got him all ready to go, and I think he has a brrr, you buy a quiet compressor, makes no goddamn difference. I'm pretty positive I have a 0.3 on him right now. Not entirely sure, but I know it's not the ultrafine. So I'm going to start him here with, I'm going to come in with some purple. Yeah, some Game Air purple. Some Game Air. The Warlord purple. I'm going to use this Warlord purple with a bit of, yeah, because he's pink as could be, in my, yeah. Pretty. Pretty and pink. So I'm going to black him out a little bit. Just to add a little extra to him. Darken him back up. Because we're going to come in. And I'm going to start blocking in values, sketching in with the airbrush for dark and highs. And the yellow is going to be I have a yellow picked out that I like very much. That's going to be our last bit that we work with. So there's a reason for all things. So get deep in this crack. Got my compressor set at about 10 psi. There we go. Now the dark's coming in. And do that right behind right behind that wing. And here. Gonna get up into this neck a little bit. Get up on the underside of his throat. And the reason I'm doing this is a lot like a reverse zenithal highlighting. And what I'm doing is just blocking in the darks so that I know where I'm going to have shadows later on. Get into these gills a little bit. Make it really pop. Make my brain scream a little bit. It'll be great. And I got this barely pulled back so that I can get a little bitsy line. Start flushing these gills out just a little bit. I think I'm going to turn the air compressor pressure down just a little bit because I'm tired of hearing them run. So we can pull this guy really light. Yeah. Start. You're gonna notice these are not. I'm not sitting here working in hyper precision. This is a rough draft. This is just a drafting of him. Gonna add some gnarlies to the front of his head because I fucked up that front gill and came across it real bad and didn't like it. So I'm just gonna add this little bitty line. I'm gonna cover in that panel pretty much. Make him look a little different up there. But the reason that we're doing this is gonna change color temperature from my wildest guessing. This is going to change the outer end of this. Although I'm using although I am using airbrush paint, I'm using Vallejo Air Specific. It's already thinned down to the correct. It's already thinned. Looking real nice. We're gonna get in here. Yeah. I was gonna say, I do not like the 0.3 brush in this guy, or the 0.3 needle in this guy. Should switch back to the ultra thin, but I'll get there at some point. So yeah. I'll set him up a little bit. But the reason that I'm doing this is that I forget what the hell I was even talking about. Oh, so this is going to change the outer temperature of the layering yellow that I end with. The very last layer of this that I work with is going to be. It's going to change the temperatures that you're seeing in it, and it's kind of it's a lot like the differences between, simpler things like priming in black versus white. If you're priming in black, your colors are going to be colder, and they're going to have an overall feel that is colder, a colder visual temperature. And that's what I'm trying to do here with this, because I will actually take and thin that outer layer of yellow real far, so that the color temperature variances are what shine through the final product. So that's why I got this dark purple. And you see I'm trying to add some to his big old belly ridge in here. And some down here in his crotch. But try not to go directly into the mini, whatever, statuary. I'm trying not to go at a direct angle in, because then it fills too much in spots, and I'm trying to make sure that some of these different variances and highlighting stand out. And like in here, I'm gonna see. I'm not gonna give it a full opacity. Okay, you see that roll? See that roll of the purple in through there? That's it's one of the things you can control really well with a smooth, concise hand, is that by taking this and changing not just the amount of button that I'm bringing in. Look, guys, I'm going to be flat with you, okay? I lost the spring that holds this guy in place. I made a new one. Doesn't matter. Even with the factory spring, dual action is great. It's lovely. Don't worry about trying to get this down. I'm gonna give it a quarter. I'm gonna give it a quarter push down. No, you're not. You're going to fight it. You're going to fight it too hard, and it's going to become a problem. Don't worry about changing the amount of air coming out of the machine, out of the gun by the trigger. Always worry about it on your compressor. Hit your regulator, turn down the pressure. You're always going to hit full button. You're always going to get full airflow. Change the amount of paint that you're bringing back. Change the amount of trigger room that you have, most of all, or change the distance. Change the distance to change opacity. If you have a single precise dot, you're this close to it, you're going to have a heart, you're going to have a big, thick, dark dot. The more you pull out, the more that dot is going to grow, the less opaque the paint is going to, the less opaque the spray is going to become on the surface that you're working with. Work with it. Work with that, first of all, instead of trying to find some hyper precise blah 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 trigger that you can you got an up and down stroke that you can somehow actually manipulate. That's just picking a detail and causing yourself more problems than they're worth because you want to have something to think about. Paint more things, simplify your process. Because I know I do excess. I know that when I paint minis, I do so much excess work, but it's because the rest of my process is fun to me. So let's get in here again. And I'm not entirely going for precise or planned out lines or anything like that. I'm looking for, this is all building towards the everything that I'm doing right now is building towards the very end product. I'm not looking for specific spots to really get in high detail. I'm just trying to get some differences added in because he is a big guy. And the only thing that you're going to notice on a surface this big with a paint project, the one thing you're going to notice is change over these humongous volumes. So I'm adding this in now, and we got a couple more steps before I even start to worry about end product. So but it's all about but it's all about letting it's all about finding ways to let the paint roll your final coat you want it to roll. You know, with volumes this big, you want to find good ways to make it stand out. And you know, even if if I wanted a purple fucking eater of worlds, I'd honestly stop now. Kind of happy with them. But just for blocking in this color, I'm really quite enthused about it and how it's going. So that's just a little bit of purple so that we can have some fun with them later. All right. But it's all, if you break it up, if you come in and you run it where everything's going to end up making sense, oh, it's going to be gorgeous in the end. And I'm starting to feel wildly enthused about that. So I'm going to stop there just because this guy so far, I am very happy with the additions of the purple in there. That's gonna lend some new variants to it when we get towards the end, but I don't want to keep playing with that color because if I keep playing with the same, if I get to a point where I'm playing with the same thing a little too much, I'm either gonna get too close to that edge that I'm skirting, or I'm going to end up pushing it too far and then hating the piece or making this thing look like a camouflage nightmare from unspoken worlds. All right, it's gonna change some colors and do some other stuff. I have no idea what's going on with my Patriot, but I'll get around to it. Okay. Mhm. Mhm. Mix and brush. I like to mix with the handle end, just a little better. Okay. Good and mixed. Okay. Since this is chrome, we're going to turn this back down in. I have the PSI set up. So, yep. Okay. So I got the PSI set up way high. Okay. We're just still blocking in. Still just blocking in. Okay. Two more seconds. Yeah. Gonna turn him back down. Okay. So just letting it fuzz in, letting it do all its whatever it is it wants to do here. I'm not grabbing any poster tack so that I can I'm not grabbing any poster tack so that I can sit here and fight with getting the details all taped off, you know, and that sort of method. Just again, we're just brightening up this bottom layer. Okay, and here's a good example of this. See this leaving the ridge lines in, these cross cuts, stuff like that. I'm not coming dead onto it so that I spray into the depressions or anything. I'm just coming in. And I'm letting him take it. Letting him take the paint. Just however he wants it. And I've stopped paying attention long enough to notice that damn needle. There we go. Okay. Sorry, come over here. Gonna do this arm. Just blocking in colors to add to a sickening kind of thing here when we get down to the bottom of him. Or when we get to the top layer started, we're gonna have him just looking yellow. Yellow is not an easy color to work with. It's especially not an easy color to paint with. It's not an easy color to make your outer layer. If that's your final coat color, it's you gotta do some work in advance to get it to a comfortable spot where it's gonna be happy and work well and look nice. And I'm sprinkling, yay. That's fun. Okay. Alright, so come on back through here. That's all fine because this is effect. We're looking for effect. We're working towards effect. We're not working towards product. We're not working towards the finished piece. We're working towards the effect of these base layers against the finished piece so that we end up with something going on that just looks living. This is even through the mythos, Cthulu is, man, he's a monster for sure. Okay, come in and do his wings here, and he shouldn't be the kind of old god that you really wanna make him look living. And I'm winging it. I'm no shit. Last minute decision, like, hey, would you paint him yeah, I have one for you. You want to paint it? Yeah, of course I do. That was yesterday. That was yesterday. It's quite a big leap to make here for today, and I'm not rushing him. I'm real hype on him, and I like it a lot. So, got an idea, and we're running with it. I'm not even working around the ribbing of his wings. Not for the moment. I'm just getting him in there. More gross. I want more gross. I just want disgust. I want him to cause terror. I want him to cause terror at the very thought of looking at it. So, for right now, pretty satisfied about it. Pretty satisfied with him. And bring that in. Keeping them gross. Just pure disgust. You'll see the effect that this leads to here just in a few short minutes. We're going to move on to that. because I've been working with Vallejo Game Air, I haven't diluted it. I don't have to worry so much about running or having to give it extra time to super extra time to dry or anything like that. So come back in here. Okay. But we're gonna do something fun here. Just a second. Okay. All right. So he is disturbing looking already. Got some intense veining. High points are blocked in. Okay. Now I'm going to change this out. And we're going to start working with a little bit of thinner. A couple of bits of thinner here. I'm going to start using, we're going to start with the, start with an orange that I have. Okay. Blow him out real quick. So with him so far, really happy with this coloring that's coming through, that dark patch in there. He is just looking sick, and got some work on in the tentacles going on in there. It's kind of super fun. This is a very fun mini. This is a very fun project. There's no rush to it, but I wanted to do a painting video today, and this is one of those minis that you buy, you're given, however it is, and it's the kind of mini that just grabs you, and you're gonna buy, like, you can see behind my head here, still working on that army. I'm gonna start playing. Kings of War here soon, hopefully, and 40K. Thanks, Greg, again. Yeah, I was gonna say no. I get to give all my money to Citadel because I've never been a big 40K player, but I'm certainly looking forward to it. So, but these guys, I'm still painting for a later Kings of War project. Put him down. Put him down because a great old one walked into my house, and it's time for him to get done. So. Let's clean this cup out just a little further. Okay. Yeah, I know. Don't worry, guys. I know. Habits, tendencies, old, old weirdnesses. I know. All right, so we're gonna start working on layering. Okay, so I've got burned flesh. Gonna start with that. Okay, burned flesh. It's this nice, brighter sienna-ish, somewhere around there. Throw a dot of black into this guy. Okay. And then give him the old what? Okay. Gonna give him a good squidging in there. Yep. Okay. Yeah, now it's a little more laid back. Okay. All right. So this is going to be our first coating of into the yellow spectrum. So golden airbrush medium. Got the pot. I am so good at I am the greatest. There, I just wanted to show you the store bottle of airbrush medium so that you know what it looks like. I keep mine in the sports bottles. They're just a lot more effective. Grab him. Okay. All right, you're gonna see how this is good. This is watery at this point. So that airbrush medium, I put a good amount in there. It is hard to tell, but thin as could be. See how much that's dipping around in there? Okay. The reason why is because it's going to be multi-pass. Multi-pass. So this is going to be a multi-pass with this color because we're starting to base, and the thin is so that we can make sure that all the work that was done on this base, on these base layers, the 2 coats of primer in a different coloring, and this purple madness, it's the color. Purple is the color of madness. I just want to make sure that everything is still going to be able to translate through. If I put even the airbrush coat just right on him, it wouldn't translate. It would the opacity would take away all that time and effort that I put into making those base layers something completely out of this world. So we start working in the thin. We keep working in the thin. We're just gonna try to watch for bubbles and drips and all that kind of stuff. But coming in through here, yep. But the opacity of this layer is gonna be low, and if I did it right, I should probably need about 2 passes before I'm gonna be satisfied with them. Mm-hmm. Okay. Back end's going for now. Okay. Pop that back end off. Just for right this second. Okay. This base is gonna go, so all right, now we're back from a clogged brush. Yay. I was gonna say, as thin as this is right now, there was no way that it wasn't gonna push it through even in low pressure. So here we go. Now we're working right. Okay, gonna just keep on moving that brush. Move the airbrush. Keep moving. Okay. It's like we have it so thin at this moment that it may as well be an ink, but it's not. retains the surface tension. That's what the airbrush medium is for. I'm really happy with how that's looking. Yeah, gonna come in. But it's so thin that all of the underside is translating through it. That's what matters. Yeah. There we go. Yep. And the fun part about working with something so thin is that, you know, if I get a little wacky and stick in the wrong space for too long, anything like that, doesn't matter. It's still gonna be so beautifully translucent that it's not going to have a grand effect. It's not going to cause great problems to be still a very hobbyist airbrush user, where I sure as hell love using the airbrush. Gotta set down below 10 psi so that I can do this, but still very hobbyist. I don't have the most guided hand with it, but for these big projects, it's perfect. So we're gonna come in here, yep. And now that I'm not working on the effect, now that I'm working on the actual body coating, I'm not worried about my angles. I'm not worried about where I'm putting it. I'm not worried about how I'm holding the mini. I'm worried about getting covered. And the thing with this being so thin is it will take a little longer to dry. Each layer is going to take a good bit, but the ending opacity for that yellow is going to be right where I want it, so that it's not something that, yeah, I'm going to stop fighting them too hard in there. It's going to have vibrancy and brilliance thanks to everything shining under it. And Hannah was polite enough to tell me that purple that I managed to pick complementary colors. I managed to pick a complementary scheme, which is really nice. So quite enthused about that. I'm not super good at color theory. Not well read on color theory. And it's one of those highly difficult subjects that's easier to teach in person. Okay. So coming in, getting the ribs. Okay. Coming in, getting everything in here. Mm-hmm. Keeping it moving. Okay. pretty happy with that. All right, so we'll come back after I get this layered up with this taupe orangish, because I'm sure it's boring to sit here and watch me do this. But there you go. Oh yeah, there's some wet in there. Some not wet in there. Oh yeah. I'll be right back. All right, so we'll be back. I'm back. I ran 2 coats of that darkish orange over this fella. I really hoped that I would have this project done by the end of tonight, but that was water thin, and I'm really happy with the results. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong at all. So all of that work so far has culminated in this. All right. So let's see if I can get the lighting right. Yeah. See, there's all that just, oh, look at all that. Yeah. I can hear you. I can hear you call me. Ha 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 ha. It's the call of Cthulu. Yeah, so I'm going to keep working on this and throughout the week, and this is going to end in a second video, but this is what we got so far. And I know the lighting in this room is not doing it any justice whatsoever, but guys, really fucking happy with the result. And running it that thin, I mean, especially even back here is a good example of it. See how just drastically different that I'm still base coating. Ran it all over him entirely, and yeah, I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna finish him as a couple more layers of solid yellow. They're gonna be inked through as well. Like, they're gonna be glazed, pretty much, almost water thin, and yeah, in there. That is not a highlight. That is not anything that I did with the brush. With the airbrush. Those are those high white spot, those highlight spots with that tan. They're still showing through, and that's what matters most. So I'm gonna do a couple different colors. I will most likely record a time lapse of the rest of this paint project and then do some voiceover with it. But I'm gonna finish this up next week. Once again, Greg, thank you so very much for this project. I get him painted, get the solid, gross yellow that I have in mind for him done, and then I'm gonna swap to brush, finish up some of it, and do some micro detailing with like some of the tiny stuff with his like his arms and all his horns and stuff. We're gonna do it in brush, but the majority of him was airbrushed. And the reason is because the technique that comes, not the technique, what's that thing, the effect that I can achieve with the airbrush on such a large piece is something I couldn't do with hand. It's not something I could do by hand with any of my vehicle brushes, my tank brushes, my GW chip brushes. Angle brushes, nope. It would take me years to do that. So this beautiful gory effect, I'm real enthused to finish them up. So all right, just want to get everybody a video up this week. Thanks to everybody who was on the Facebook page, and yeah, I was real excited to get a set of Game Air. $165 on Amazon. Go buy one if it's still that price. It's not bad. It's a great set. 10 different primer colors. They're just a different formulary. Great extra chipping mediums. The chipping medium glaze, the whatever gloss varnish, matte varnish, all kinds of stuff, and every color for the Game Air, phenomenal. And the coverage is Vallejo's quality. I don't mean to preach up my excitement for them, but they're rather phenomenal. So join us on Facebook. I don't know. Let's get a conversation going. And there will be a gameplay video coming out later this week. I'm going to start branching. I'm going to start stepping so that Monday morning there's a new video, whether it's painting or gameplay. But there'll be one Monday morning and then Thursday morning from now on. So the next gameplay video is going to be what I learned from Lake Town and why The Hobbit wasn't that great a film, but an amazing reference. All right. See you guys then. Bye.